everybody, I'm Paul Higgins and welcome to this edition of Eagle Insider as we kick off the 2019 year here at Santa Margarita Catholic High School. My first guest of the year is Jerry Holloway. For a number of reasons, Jerry is a great guy. That's why I wanted him on this edition of Eagle Insider. But congratulations goes out to Jerry because obviously, as you might have heard through the grapevine, he is the mayor of Santa Margarita. And Jerry, first of all, congratulations. I think this is your second term?
Well, actually, it's my third term.
Your third term, okay.
It's my third time at being mayor.
And that is something that you're passionate about because you've only been a mayor here now for about a month, and I've seen you in the paper every week doing events, and the most recently you're doing events for kids, and so you're very passionate about that. Where does that community service come from within you? Because it's not like you're not busy here.
Right, no, it is busy here, and it's a part-time job, and sometimes it seems like a full-time job. Well, really, in one fashion or another, I've been in public service really my entire adult working life. I worked in the city of Costa Mesa as a police officer for 20 years, and then I actually got elected to the council in 2002. I retired from Costa Mesa in '98, so there's a short gap. And I've been on the council here since 2002. Took a 2-year hiatus between 12 and 14. Missed it so much, came back on in 14, and then ran here again recently. So public service, great question. I love it. The team concept, you know, as corny as it may sound, is really the reason I like public service, because you're always working with a team. It's not really just an individual effort. And you know, you've been on teams, obviously do so much with teams, and it is so true that the team concept works, and that's really what draws me to it, I think.
How do you separate the time here at Santa Margarita to turn that off and then go and do your duties as a mayor? And do they ever overlap?
They do. From a schedule standpoint, most of what we do as mayor takes place after school hours. On occasion, I'll have to go to a meeting, a county meeting, maybe even a state meeting to represent the city, but the school's always been very generous in allowing me to take some small amounts of time off campus. Doesn't happen very often, but again, most of those commitments are in the evening or on the weekends.
Now, I've been in meetings with you here on school, and you do an amazing job, you and Mr. Fitzpatrick as deans, and of course you've got a big staff that works with you. You approach your job very methodically, a lot better than I would. Where do you get that from? Is it just wisdom, seeing so many things, and now you're dealing with kids? Tell me about that.
Great question. I think a lot of it has to do with the way I was raised. My mom and dad did a great job exposing my sister and I to a large part of the world at a young age, and I just became comfortable with a variety of situations. And then really as a police officer, you get exposed to so many situations where you have to sharpen your skills as far as how to deal with people. It was kind of a natural progression to come here. Actually, I taught for 4 years before I became a dean, and I had always wanted to work in a high school after I got done with my job as a police officer. I actually came over here initially as a football coach. Jim Hartigan hired me and got on as I taught economics and government for a couple of years, or 4 years actually, and then came on as a dean. But it's a rewarding job, because even though, you know, we are the keeper of the rules, if you will, we know that there's a good purpose, and we're really getting the kids ready for the rest of their lives. And we like to say that the bulk of the rules here are not rules that are just specific to Santa Margarita, but really are rules that they're going to encounter for the rest of their lives in college and at jobs. So we're kind of getting kids ready for the rest of their lives.
It's kind of like, Jerry, the patterns that they set here, the good patterns are the patterns that they're going to live by the rest of their life, as you mentioned. That's a big thing.
100%, and the school's philosophy is this is a village, and it takes a village to raise kids, and we have the kids here for 4 years, but a very formative 4 years, so it's very important that we're consistent here. We enforce the rules that the school has set down, and working with parents and teachers and staff and everybody, it works. This is a great place to be.
What is the most difficult part of your job? I know that there's probably any day that you come to work, there's things that pop up all the time. And I'm going to ask you the flip side of that question in a second. But what's the most difficult part of your job?
Well, the difficult part is when a student has difficulties following some of the rules and they end up having to transfer out because maybe it's just not a good fit for them. If that happens, it's certainly after so many different entities that try to make it work for the student, get a path to success. And when that doesn't work, we all feel bad about that. It happens, and it's not always a good fit for everybody. We've had kids leave and then come back after a period of time. That's the hardest part when we see a kid that really wants to be here that just isn't able to do that. It's a very, very small number. That's difficult. That's a difficult thing.
So on the flip side of that, what is the most gratifying aspect of your job? You're working with young people all day. You're working with a great staff and faculty. So I'm sure there's a lot of pluses to what you do.
100%. We talk about this all the time. We work with kids that have some difficulties, and at the graduation ceremony at Bren Center, we stand right when the kids walk out, and we shake hands with as many as we can, but really the kids that have had some difficulties, had to struggle, succeeded, and now they're graduating. That's the most gratifying day for us. And then as time goes on, a lot of those alumni come back and they shake our hands and they say, you weren't really as bad of a guy as we thought you were. And that's gratifying, and that's kids. That's what kids do.
I told you you're a good guy.
Well, yeah, we have a great staff over there, and everybody works real hard. Everybody in the school works really hard. And at the end of the day, it's, again, back to that team effort concept. We do it because it's a great team.
If someone down the road watching this would love to become a dean, maybe you've sparked their interest, what are the couple of words of wisdom as advice that you could give them? Hey, do you want to step into this arena? If you do, this is what I suggest.
I think it's a natural progression if you have classroom experience. A lot of times deans have been teachers. In the past, there's been teachers come through. I didn't do a classical path where I had a career of teaching. Having a background, people in the dean's office, we had a probation officer in the past. We've had different backgrounds, but I think just getting as much experience with teenagers as you can. I know most of the staff and faculty here, a big portion, if you will, either went to school here or they have kids here, so they have that experience. It is a maturing aspect. You need to have the experience where you get that either in the classroom. You just need to have a background of working with people, because you work with the parents as much as you do with the kids. So it's really it's a joint effort with everybody, and just get in and have fun.
Is there a PG experience that you can share with us that's pretty funny, that's happened over the years? Something silly. I mean, you were just mentioning it, at the winter formal, when they had the winter formal, kid was trying to, oppress somebody, and then he...
Yeah, I could tell you about one. It's a number of years ago, so I think the statute of limitations has gone by. A young man wanted to invite his girlfriend to, whether it was the prom or Christmas form or whatever it was, and back then it was a lot more creativity to asking someone to a dance. He went out and bought a smoke bomb, but unfortunately bought it at it was like a Army surplus store. It was actually like an Army-sized smoke bomb. He put it into her lockers, and it was set up to where when she opened it, the smoke would come out and a sign would come out, hey, you would go to the prom with me.
Right.
Unfortunately, it was much too big of a smoke bomb for the size of the locker. When she opened it, there was so much smoke, you could not see in or out of the lunch shelter. We didn't know whether or not a real bomb had gone off or what it was, so we had the bomb squad come out. And at the end of the day, it was really a girl and a guy that wanted to go to the dance together. That was some good intent that went south, and we had a laugh about that afterwards.
Jerry's going to write a book on what not to do in high school, but Jerry, just have inside of a minute left with you, and I know that you've been doing this a long time. What is your long-term goal now as a dean of the school? What would you like to see happen as you move forward? That's a big question.
Well, one thing that we always ask for is parent and student input on how we can get better in doing our jobs. The rule book is a moving target. We change the rules every year to try to keep up with trends and not be too imposing, but yet have a Catholic environment, a Christian Catholic environment, but yet keep pace with society. So any input that we can get from parents and students, we really want that, so we can make this experience here even better than it already is.
Yeah, well, it's awesome. You know, our children here at Santa Margarita are safe and looked after because of people like Jerry Holloway. Not only the dean of the school with Santa Margarita, also the mayor of Santa Margarita, the city of Santa Margarita. So thank you for stopping by and spending some time,
Thank
Jerry.
you, Paul. Appreciate that.
I know that you've got a lot of important things to do, so make sure that you check out Jerry Holloway and also share the video with us here at Santa Margarita Catholic High School. For Eagle Insider, I'm Paul Higgins. Thanks for watching.